The Mavericks just keep winning basketball games. They just keep winning. Tonight we had no business winning against the Kings. The Kings dominated the game in the first half. We brought it to within 9 at halftime, but we were down a total of 15 at one point. And it just felt like this one was out of reach. Luka was really laboring that right leg, specifically that right knee. But man, I cannot be more happy. I'm more proud about this win tonight than I am the Tuesday win we won by 30. Because this showed grit and determination, and the bench was going crazy. It just looked like everyone was in sync tonight. Like, we were not hitting shots, but everyone was supporting each other. I'll get to the Dante Exum three-pointers in a second, but I can't believe we won that game. Y'all are going to have to excuse the shitty recording quality. I left my microphone back in my apartment. I'm not there right now. My bad, guys. This is not the quality you subscribed for. I apologize. If this game was earlier in the season, like November, December, even January, honestly, we would have lost this game probably by 15, and if this was last year, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. We would have lost this game by like 30. I feel like the Mavs can compete with anyone, but some nights it just doesn't look like it. And tonight, honestly, we did not look great. PJ Washington started like 0 for 5 from 3. He was awful in that first half. But we stopped settling, and we started making good basketball plays. Dante Exum was massive tonight, like absolutely integral to this win. Probably the biggest win of the season, if we're talking about importance for us making the playoffs. That puts us at 2-2 with the Kings in the season series, therefore not giving them the head-to-head advantage if we were to be tied in the standings come playoff time. But the way we're playing right now, dude, we are rolling. But last time I put out a video, I was talking about how, are the Mavs contenders? We went on a 3-game losing streak and looked terrible. And Max Strus hit 5 straight three-pointers on us in the fourth quarter and made a 74-foot bomb. I never talked about that on the channel, mostly because I was just pissed about it, like actually pissed. Also because I just didn't have the time. But yeah, that losing streak, we looked rough. I was seeing shades of last year. I was terrified. But we've really picked it up and honed in these last few games. The Mavs are currently on a 6-game winning streak. The only loss in our last 10 was to the Thunder without Luka on a back-to-back, and we only lost by like 7. And it was a close game down the stretch. Like, Kyrie was really locked in that game. Look, the Mavs are scary, man. I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs if I was any other team. Now, I understand that there's plenty of time. I'm getting like flashbacks to last year. There's plenty of time. This still could go south. We could fall as far as 9th in the West. I don't see us falling to 10th. That's unreasonable. But that would be worst case scenario. Like if we just decided we were a terrible basketball team all of a sudden. We do play the Rockets on Sunday, and they're on a 10-game win streak, and they just beat the Jazz by 1. So seems like a vulnerable game, but they've won 10 in a row. They're rolling. Like, they might take the 10th seed away from the Warriors. That's how great they've been playing. Even without Şengün, they look great. But the Mavs are now 2 games back from the 4th-seeded Clippers, 1 game back from the 5th-seeded Pelicans. Now they're 1.5 games up on the Suns, 2 full games up on the Kings, and 3.5 games up on the 9th-seeded Lakers. And that Suns team, man, they confused the shit out of me. They're lucky I didn't have time to record a video about them this week because I would have not so nice things to say about them. And again, I'm a Mavs fan, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Tonight, the Mavs got huge boosts from Kyrie. He had 30. Pretty much all of his damage was done in the fourth quarter. He was 11 for 16 from the floor, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 30 points, 3 for 5 from 3. Luka was 4 for 8 from 3. 9 rebounds, 12 assists, 26 points. He didn't look particularly great tonight because he was hobbling around on one leg for most of the game. But, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. He damn near had a triple-double with 26 points, and I felt like he wasn't particularly great tonight. PJ Washington, not a great game. 2 for 10 from the floor, 2 for 8 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 points. Derrick Jones Jr. also sort of struggled, but he didn't get a whole lot of run as compared to usual Derrick Jones Jr. minutes. He played 22 minutes, 3 for 7 from the floor, 1 for 3 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 7 points. Gafford and Lively combined for 18 points, 16 rebounds. Lively particularly, I was very impressed with tonight. He held his own against Sabonis. He wasn't in down the stretch. Gafford was, and that's been the theme lately. Since Gafford has been put in the starting lineup, we are now 12-0 if him and Luka play. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dante Exum down the stretch had multiple chances to knock down three-pointers. He had one in the corner, he had one on the wing, one was long, one was short. It was frustrating because going into this game, Dante was 6 for 7 from the three-point line in clutch games. He missed those 2 3-pointers, and then he missed a tough layup when Luka was wide open in the left corner, and I was like, Dante, you're kind of throwing. And then Luka got doubled at half court. He passes it to PJ Washington. PJ Washington drives, kicks it to Dante Exum. His third wide open three-pointer, he knocks down, puts us up by 3. Just a massive shot, a massive shot. And talk about trust in a guy to keep him out there, and Jason Kidd, trust by his teammates to knock down that shot. I mean, he's done it multiple times this season. I think back to the Lakers, obviously, when he had, 6 for 8 from 3, 7 for 8 from 3, something ridiculous. Exum is shooting just shy of 51% from 3 this season, 50.6. Most of his attempts are wide open, if not all of them, but 50.6% from 3 is absurd, even if you're shooting wide open ones. It's game speed. He's an NBA player, I understand, but y'all don't get it. Like, he was overseas for 2 years. He's been massive for the Mavs this season. Also adding another ball handler in there with Luka and Kyrie, a great defender. He can really lock down on those guards. Keon Ellis, by the way, that dude knocked down, I swear, he was 4 for 9 from 3. It felt like he didn't miss tonight, to be honest. And same with Keegan Murray down the stretch. He hit 2 massive three-pointers. He was 4 for 11 from the floor. Kessler Edwards also checked into the game because Malik Monk got injured, and he was 3 for 3 from 3, 9 points, 2 rebounds, a steal. Like, he was playing solid defense, and he was knocking down his wide-open three-pointers. I mean, what else can you ask of a guy that averages 1.6 points a game? I know whenever I make a Mavs video, we just become the shittiest team of all time right after, but we looked really great tonight. That was not a traditional Mavericks win. We played tough defense. The threes weren't really falling until like the second half. Towards the end of the second half, like the fourth quarter, they were finally falling. Of the Lakers, Kings, Suns, and Mavs, it feels like the Mavs are slowly separating themselves, especially with these 2 statement wins. We'll see how we perform on Sunday against the Rockets, who are red hot again, like I was saying. Anyway, that's all I really got about that. Please, Mavs, don't let me down. Avoid the plan. Some news around the association. Did y'all see Jalen Brunson had 61 tonight? Yes, he did it on 47 shots, and they lost, but he had 61. That's his career high. Wemby had 40 points, a huge 3 in overtime, and 20 rebounds. I mean, this game was going on while the Mavs were playing, so I had to go back and watch the end of this game. But wow. I mean, it's scary to think about how this is the worst Wembanyama will be in his career. Like, this is the worst we will ever see him. I'm terrified. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how Wemby's rookie season was really just his first 41 games, and then his second 41 games, this is basically his sophomore season, because he's looked like a just way more comfortable player in the back half of this season. Again, didn't get to watch a whole lot of this game, so I don't have a whole lot to talk about, but 40 and 20 as a rookie and a win over the Knicks. I get they're injured, but Brunson had 61 points and you still pull out a win. That's impressive. The Timberwolves beat the Nuggets tonight, 111-98. That puts the standings in a really interesting spot, because that means that the Timberwolves and the Thunder are now tied at 51 and 22 for the first seed, and the Nuggets are now 51 and 23, which puts them half a game back. So we essentially have what is a 3-way tie for the best team in the West right now. Again, Timberwolves 51 and 22, same with the Thunder, Nuggets 51 and 23. Like, that is as close of a number 1 seed race as it gets. At the end of the day, this is just kind of like, whose matchup do you want? Who do you want to avoid? Obviously, you want those number 1 or 2 seeds so you get a play-in team. I think if you're the 3 seed, you want to avoid either the Pelicans, the Mavericks, or potentially the Kings. I think the Kings of the Suns, Kings, Lakers have the best chance of cleaning up that 6 seed if the Mavericks fall out of it, or if the Pelicans fall out of it, or hell, even if the Clippers fall out of it, because they've been playing meh basketball lately. They've picked it up as of late. They've won their last 2, but something about them, man, it's just not convincing. And this is the best this Clippers team is going to look, in my opinion. Like, next year, everyone's just going to be a year older. Paul George might not even be on the fucking team anymore. If I was a Clippers fan, I'd be kind of terrified. I get that the Clippers might end up throwing whatever money they possibly can at him, because they need to fill seats in that giant arena they just built, and they need to put people in the wall, you know, that giant area of the Clippers arena where it's only Clippers mega fans. And you're not going to do that if you just have Kawhi and James Harden, who will be even more washed up than he already is next season, and Russell Westbrook, who plays really hard. He's been energetic. He's really the battery pack for this team, because it feels like some nights, like, James Harden doesn't give a shit, Kawhi doesn't give a shit, Paul George doesn't give a shit. And when I say that, I don't mean that they don't care. They just feel lackadaisical. Like they just are going through the motions out there. And everyone understands when you get to the playoffs, Kawhi is a totally different monster. Paul George, you know, he's 50-50 on how he's going to be for you in a playoff series. James Harden, known playoff shrinker. Russell Westbrook, I think, will continue to do what he's been told to do, which is play tough defense, not take a whole lot of shots, and be energetic. But yeah, man, I'm not convinced. This Clippers team was really good in the middle of the season. Like, they had a 20-game stretch where they looked like maybe the best team in the West. They were killing teams. Like, they were up 20 points going into the fourth quarter multiple times against teams that were pretty good. But they did squeak a win over the Magic tonight. Lakers lost to the Pacers. Pistons beat the Wizards in the Who Gives a Shit Bowl. Warriors beat the Hornets in what is essentially a home game for Steph Curry. Thunder beat the Suns 128-103 without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Again, Suns, what the hell? What is happening? And a score that I usually wouldn't mention, but it's so ridiculous I have to. The Heat beat the Trailblazers 142-82 tonight. They won by 60 points. The Heat put up 142 points. I mean, that's embarrassing. The Heat, a team that is notoriously bad on the offensive end this season. 142 points and allowed 82. I get the Blazers are tanking, but damn. Like, really? The Cavs also beat the Sixers, who are still missing Embiid, but apparently he's closer to coming back. And the Nets beat the Bulls. That's the NBA tonight. Mavericks. Oh, man. The Mavericks had me nervously excited, is how I'll put it. Anyway, again, apologize for the shitty microphone. Y'all take care. Have a good one.